Hey everybody, I just wanted to make this video this afternoon. I made one because of a request, the one about imaginations, and this was also a request. And they wanted me to, this dad and son had been talking about Joseph, and they said that would be good for them if I'd make one about Joseph, and I'm going to try to do that. Um, of all the stories in the Bible, I love the one about Joseph. Um, I guess my favorite is about Solomon, as I said the other day, but the next one will be Joseph. My name is Joseph. My dad's name was Joseph Payne Cantrell Jr., and my name is Joseph Dale Cantrell. I go by Dale. Nobody calls me Joseph. Well, Melinda might if she needs me and get my attention for something. But they even tried to call me Joseph in school, and I wouldn't answer to them because that's not my name. That's my dad's name. Sometimes it might come in handy if somebody calls, a salesman calls and wants to speak to Joseph, because I know that they don't know me, especially if they call from New York or somewhere and they want to speak to Joseph. So, but I love the story about Joseph. It's a story of. Um, I preach a sermon that I preached at Meridianville, and it was, I guess you'd call it yo-yo Christians. People that are down here today, the next time you see them, they may be up here, they're up and down like a yo-yo. If God wanted to find you, would he know where to find you? Does he find you up high, or does he find you down in the basement? I've always strived to be uh, kind of steady as you go. That's what I love to do. So Joseph, he could have been the victim, but he was a victor. And uh, he had a bunch of brothers. His daddy really loved Joseph, and he made him a coat of many colors. Joseph always, throughout his life, had dreams, or he could interpret dreams. And he had this dream where his dad and his brothers were going to bow down to him. And it angered his brothers. That many coat of many color in that dream, it just sealed his doom with them. And so they were out together. They had their opportunity, and they saw an open pit, had no water in it, and they threw him down in there. They took his coat of many colors. They killed some kind of an animal, and they dipped his coat in blood, and that's what they told. They went back and told his dad that an animal had surely torn him to pieces. But Joseph did not take the victim's role. Uh, losers have excuses and winners have commitment. Uh, there's so many people that would just love to be. People in the hospital, these people that's suffering from coronaviruses in intensive care, they would just love to be where you're at. People in other countries would just love to be over here where you're at. They would take a canoe and paddle it to get over here. They just give everything to be in your shoes. But Joseph, after they threw him in the pit, I think it was the Ishmaelites came by and got him, and they sold him. He wound up with Potiphar, and he did well with Potiphar. But Potiphar's wife lied on him, and he wound up in jail. In jail, there was a butler and a baker, and they had dreams. Joseph interpreted those dreams, and they told him that the one that got out told him that he would remember him, but he didn't do it. And uh, it seemed like Joseph was lied on so much. But anyway, uh, then Pharaoh had a dream, and whichever one it was told Pharaoh that Joseph had interpreted a dream for him. The dream that Pharaoh had troubled him, and Joseph interpreted it where it was going to be, I think, 7 years of plenty and 7 years of famine. And Joseph told him he needed to pick out somebody wise that could help him in those 7 years of famine. And that's what happened. That is what happened. He made Joseph the number 2 man over Egypt, just under him. He gave Joseph access and control over all the things. And we're automatically entered into the game of life. You might as well make the best of it. And the time is running out. There's no time for grudges. We spend so much time majoring in the minor and minoring in the major. Joseph's brother really mistreated him, told his daddy that animal had torn him in pieces. Don't you know that some people will lie on you? But anyway, after a while, Joseph's family became in need, and they sent him to Egypt to see the man in charge, which was Joseph. They just thought they was coming to see the CFO about a loan extension or something like that. And when he got there, it was Joseph. They didn't recognize Joseph, but he recognized them. I guess he was speaking through an interpreter so he wouldn't give himself away. Joseph had a gift. And you have that gift whether you're in prison or not. And don't ever lose your song. If a caged bird can sing, why can't you sing? Why can't you sing? So here they come, getting up into Egypt. Like I said, looking for a loan or something. And if anybody that you don't want to be at mercy of is somebody that you have mistreated. But you can't be bitter because creativity doesn't function in bitterness. So here they come, and I'm going to start with 45. Like I said, there's chapter 45. Like I said, they was probably going through an interpreter. He recognized them, but they didn't recognize him. But it said, and Joseph could not refrain himself before all of them that stood by him. And he cried, caused every man to go out from me. And there stood no man with him, while Joseph made himself known unto his brethren. And he wept aloud, and the Egyptians in the house of Pharaoh heard him. And Joseph said unto his brother, I am Joseph. Doth not my father yet live? And his brethren could not answer him, for there was trouble at his presence. Don't you know if you just threw somebody in a pit, and your past come back around, that you'd be afraid for your life? But Jesus forgave. That's a big idea. I talked on another video and said, you could be big if you didn't let little get a hold of you. Forgiveness is a big idea. And Joseph said unto their brethren, come near to me, I pray ye. And they come near. They had made most of his life miserable. And he said, I am Joseph, your brother. And now therefore, which you sold into Egypt. Now therefore be not grieved nor angry with yourselves that you sold me hither. For God did send me before you to preserve life. For these 2 years hath the famine been in the land. And yet there are 5 years in which there shall neither be earing or harvest. God sent me before you to preserve you a posterity in the earth, and to save you your lives by a great deliverance. For now it was not you that sent me hither, but God, and he made me a father unto Pharaoh and the Lord over all his house, and a ruler throughout all the land. And he saved his brothers through all of that. What a act of forgiveness. We somebody does us wrong, and if we let the flesh rule and we get a chance, we want to do that back to them again. And but to love your enemies, to pray for them that despitefully use you. That Joseph is such a great example in the Bible. And so when you have opportunity and you come across somebody that's done you wrong, and you can do them right. I want my hands to be clean. I don't want anybody's blood on my hand. I don't want my hand to be on the back of anybody. He said, holy hands without wrath or doubting. I'd like to be able to lift my hands up and say, Lord, examine my hands. You see that there's no man's blood on there, and I've treated everybody right, Lord. I had someone ask me one time, said, how is so-and-so getting away? How are they getting away with that? Maybe mistreating you or something like that. And I said, the answer is they're not getting away with anything. You're not getting away with anything. I'm not getting away with anything. And nobody is getting away with nothing. If somebody's doing you wrong, you don't have to do anything except pray for them and try to love them. And God will take care of the rest. Just be sweet in your soul. Just be sweet in your soul. That's the answer. And God will fight your battles. When a man's ways please the Lord, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him. May God bless you is my prayer.